provider, as well as comments and information from former disgruntled employees that have left the department because of their lack of desire to keep the safety of the fire department members and residents of this village as a priority as part of their job on the fire department. I expected Riverside to dislike this proposal as it potentially impacts their future. However, I did not expect was the level of unprofessionalism and unethical behavior from Riverside staff and their leadership. These are the same people that our residents currently rely on to serve them professionally in their time of medical need, and the same people that we, as fire department members, rely on to have our backs on mutual aid fire calls. When people can't provide facts, they resort to name calling and spreading false information to try to make themselves look better. I want you all to know that no matter what the decision of the board is in regards to the ambulance proposal, the next time we all get paged out to help you or someone you know, whether it's in our village or someone else's village, we will again run out that door to serve with pride in our department, purpose in our work, and compassion for those we are serving.
Next up is Bill Ulich.
Hi there, William Udelich, 1859 Kimberly Road, Kronenwetter, and my wife Lucine, and she lives at the same address I do. We have a gift, and we are going to give it to each one of the board members, and hopefully they will accept it. My wife and I have noticed a board member or two are not saying or not able to say the Pledge of Allegiance. So we have made a copy for each board member. We do not want people to think our board members are not patriotic or un-American. Hopefully this will help. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, I apologize, I can't read the next signature here, but the address is 2240 Ruby.
Really?
Sorry, guy,
I know, Chief,
sorry.
Mr. Bull, my handwriting is terribly small, so I understand. So, Crocodile, 2240 Ruby Drive. So I wanted to make just a few comments about some of the financial matters. I understand and support the concept that quality of care and level of care is foremost. The comment, how much is the life worth? I hope we don't test it. Now for a few comments quickly on some financial matters. When the proposal was submitted by the Kronenwetter Fire District for an ambulance service, they showed $710,100 in capital expenses. And they showed a loan payment of $71,000 a year. So I raised the question, is there interest included? And when I made my written comments to APC, I showed 5% interest a year, and on that $710,000. That number works out to $18,384. So that's about $17,384 higher than what was in the proposal. That's not the only, and essentially that has been admitted, that there would be higher interest. Now, then there's the concept of, oh, this is on a high estimate of capital needs. In my book, as a citizen, when you make a written proposal and you tell us that your capital needs are a specific number, $710,100, you don't get to change that. You don't get to change that. You can change it all right. You can buy cheaper stuff. And how long will that last? And how much will it cost us then to replace it? Will it be reliable? I don't accept fudging those numbers. Also, some research that has been done by Mr. Kramer shows that if the Kronenwetter ambulance service proposal was approved, that service cannot bill at as high a rate and will not receive as high a rate as a paramedic service. This has been supported by 2 local fire districts. And the difference will be $50,000 on the conservative side, $50,000 a year, to $66,000 a year. So that means we're looking at a difference somewhere between $68,384 and $84,384. 384. So, in my comments at the APC meeting, I suggested a public forum, a public hearing. And there should be people on both sides to make a presentation. Before that, I think we need to do some fact gathering and really pin these answers down. I think we've got one chance here to get this right. And if, I talked with Chief O'Brien after this, and she and I had a very cordial conversation, and essentially what I said to her was, I'm just a citizen, but if you want my support, you have to earn it. Now, I've got my wife, myself, a daughter who's being treated for a serious health condition. I, as a citizen, I expect the best quality of care that can be provided. And in my mind, that's Riverside. They're paramedic level, why would we go down? So that's essentially what I have to say. I do hope the village board chooses to get this right. Better to take the time and do it right than to rush and get it wrong. Thank you.
Next up is Alex Benedict.
Alex Benedict, 1955, Woodgate Lane. I cede my time to Elizabeth.
Alright, Elizabeth Benedict.
All right, Ken, you can see me here. I want you to make eye contact. I want you to listen, okay? There's a quote which came to mind as I sat to write this public comment. Fight for the things you care about, but do it in a way that will lead others to join you. Oh, okay, sorry.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I missed that name of the address.
Elizabeth Bedwick, 1955 Woodgate Lane.
Thanks.
We'll start over. There's a quote which came to mind as I sat to write this public comment. Fight for the things you care about, but do it in a way that will lead others to join you. I'm joined here tonight by some very brave and dedicated village employees. As we know, the village has dealt with constant staff turmoil and turnover. Our most recent village administrator, Leonard Ludi, recently resigned. The entire board has failed Mr. Ludi and the hardworking staff of our village. This failure has trickled down from the top. Mr. Ludi is a well-educated, competent, respected administrator who has consistently advocated for village staff. In Mr. Ludi's resignation letter, he references considerable concerns which have affected his ability to do his job. Many previous village staff have spoken out via social media, traditional media articles referencing a dysfunctional environment between the village board and the village staff, contributing to their decision to look for alternative employment. Some have bravely direct messaged to me or spoken to me in confidence. While I will never betray specifics of what were shared, I will state that the common themes in these conversations trends back to the lack of support from the village board, terse working relationships between staff and village board, and abusive requests and demeanor from one specific village board trustee. Eye contact, please. This person is right over there, Ken Charneski. While trustee Charneski maintains his usual rhetoric that he has heard nothing about this, multiple staff have detailed trustee Charneski's abusive, demeaning, inappropriate, and demanding behavior towards staff on a consistent basis. Due to poor staff morale, the village board recently hosted an employee appreciation luncheon. Trustee Charneski was one of only 2 board members, the other being Cindy, who recently chose not to participate in or donate towards the luncheon with the rest of the board. Leonard Ludi leaving is a shame for this village. Each board member has not taken a personal inventory nor attempted to remedy the persistent staff turnover this village has endured. There has been no learning by our board leadership in any of this. If a village staffer leaves, the board just immediately goes ahead and hires somebody else without figuring out why people are leaving or attempting to improve the situation. There's already an agenda item to rehire the administrator position after Leonard's 2-week notice. While it is understandable that the village needs to fill vacant positions, treating staff like a number conveys an attitude that staff is expendable and unvalued. While this culture is exhibited strongest by trustee Charneski, the whole leadership that continues to let this happen and continues to seemingly be okay with this behavior is to blame. Residents have asked the board to create an independent ethics commission or enforce a code of conduct on themselves for years. It still hasn't been done. Trustee Charneski, I want you to listen carefully to what I'm saying. You are a bully. The way you treat staff is unacceptable. People have stood here tonight and said that. I hope you've listened to what they have said. And the rest of the board, you are complicit in allowing Ken to bully staff. President Bowl, this is happening on your watch. When we know better, we do better. We know who the problem is, we know what the problem is, make a change.
Next up is Bernie Kramer.
My name is Bernie Kramer, 2150 East State Highway 153 Bethlehem. Mr. President, I'm gonna stick strictly to some budget numbers here. Right now, with Riverside, we include the EMS $50,000 a year budget, and that comes out to $139,000. Now we drop down here, and we got $258,000 for ambulance proposal in Kronenwetter. But where is the EMS budget? It's gone. It's almost like it never existed, but that will continue, and we also have a truck. We have the best EMS and the only EMS in central Wisconsin. You do a heck of a job, and bar none. So then I'll drop down to the so-called down below. I'll add it in the $50,000 EMS left out of the totals. Then the paramedic funding level, we can't get that in Kronenwetter. We will be at the AEMT level, which is about 30% less. We can't get to Rothschild because we don't have the level of ambulance service that's being proposed to get the 200,000. So therefore, I added another 50,000 in there. Insurance, which the fire chief said she was gonna check with the clerk and get something going on that. But that's the minimum of 25, so that takes it up to $258,000 for deficit, total deficit. And then if you're dividing the 8,500 per capita is $29.08, 80 cents. Now with the Riverside and our SM budget in there, it's $16.30, and that's right. I agree with everything there is on that account. Now, there's no way any community has ever made any money running an ambulance service. It's impossible. And with that being said, safer. 4,000 calls, gee, you'd think they're rolling in the dough. Rib Mountain contributes $500,000 to keep it afloat, and Weston contributes $1 million to keep that. And in Rothschild down here, they contribute $655,000 a year. And if we in Kronenwetter, we don't have no magic. We're no better than anybody else. Plus, we'll have a lower service rated ambulance service, and we'll be paying more than we're paying to Rothschild or Riverside. And they just received some performance awards most recently. And I think Kronenwetter would do well to go to work and pay the status quo, continue doing what we're doing, and recognize that we all have a place, and we should learn to get along, how to get along with our surrounding communities. I want to throw one thing else in there. You know, our police department, they do such a good job getting along with the communities around us. It's unbelievable. If you look at their yearly report, how they have coverages with every community around us, and nothing is ever said. Nobody talks about dollars or anything else. And that is the one thing Kronenwetter has done. We communicate well with our community, and I think we should learn from them that we have to get along. We can't go to work and criticize and point fingers. That gets us no. You know, another thing, and we haul all our money across the border. We can't even eat without going to the grocery store someplace. We can't survive. We don't have nothing in Kronenwetter. So we're worried about some of it this year, and we should look at ourselves and say, hey, maybe we could do other things and put some energy on, rather than criticizing people and beating up on them. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. Next up is Joel Straub.
Yeah, my name's Joe Stroud, 860 West Nelson Road, Kronenwetter. show, guys. Thank you, Mr. Kangaroo, Captain Kangaroo, for allowing all that smear going on. I got nothing prepared, I'm just gonna talk off the cuff. There's plenty here to talk about the ambulance service. I think there's enough evidence to show that we do not need to start our own ambulance service at this time. I heard some former employees, the great staff from the past, Randy Pfeiffer and Richard Downey. I think Mr. Kowalski, BC Kowalski in the room somewhere. I thought someone said he was here. I see Chief McHugh isn't here, but Lieutenant Smart is here. And he can attest to the fact that there was a document that was suspected of being a forgery created by former staff members Randy Pfeiffer and Richard Downey. It was presented to the police. Lieutenant Smart, can you attest to that? Did I not? That got forwarded to a detective in Stevens Point, is that correct? It did. And so it's been, there's a criminal investigation going on against those two former employees. It's been going on for over 2 years. I decided to go and check in on it because it was told to us by the detective from Stevens Point that it was sitting up at Lincoln County DA's office. So I went up there August 25th to check on the status. They had not received it yet. It was sitting somewhere in limbo. Okay, so I've written 2 letters, one to the Marathon County DA's office, she has not responded, and one to Lincoln County DA's office, they are not responding. Our property is damaged by it, and we cannot sell it because there's an encumbrance on it. So that's enough of that. Let's talk about this guy right here, the Vedvik man, the vet off his meds. This man spent a year coming to every meeting before he was elected and spent 3 minutes beating down on me. Your wife beat down on that man.
Over here, Joel.
No, beat down on that man right there for having a sign in his, I'm talking, please. Can you
It's
climb
a
it?
child
speaking, give him a break.
So, what I'm getting, can I have my time back from the interruption? Please, I respect. Anyway, the distractions, I figured they'd come from this guy right here.
Yeah, sure enough.
Joe, just get into your comments.
I know.
Yeah, I wish the guy would, can't keep his mouth shut.